So we have to understand so many things today. We have to do lot of discussion today. So on one hand, there is Hobbes. On one hand, we have Hobbes, and on the other hand, we have Locke. What is the central feature of Hobbes? That Hobbes also gave the theory of social contract, and Locke also gave the theory of social contract. Hobbes is also giving the theory of social contract, and Locke is also giving the theory of social contract, isn't it? But what is the difference in both of them? What is the difference in both of them? Social contract. This is the social contract theory of Hobbes, and this is a social contract theory of Locke. What is the difference? State is very powerful in Hobbes theory. Very good. So let's start serially. Hobbes designed his theory when the Britain was in stable or unstable? When the Britain was suffering from civil war. Are we understanding this? So Britain was unstable. Britain was unstable from because of the internal forces. And when Locke gave his theory, the Britain was relatively, please tell. Britain was, the politics of Britain was relatively, it was relatively stable. All of you can see and hear me. So that's why you will see the reflection of the political situation in the Locke's theory. So Locke's theory is a little bit liberal in comparison with the Hobbes theory. Hobbes gave a very, very tough understanding of the state, very strict understanding of the state. He wanted to make a very strict state, very powerful state, because Hobbes has gone through the civil war. Hobbes has seen that the country was suffering from the civil war. So therefore, if we have to make a strong society, a civilized society, we need a strong state. So that is the first thing. So when civil war was going on, there was a Puritan revolution. Puritan revolution. So Hobbes gave his theory during the Puritan revolution, whereas Locke gave the theory during the Golden Revolution. During the Golden Revolution. So whether Locke supported the Golden Revolution or not, or glorious revolution. Thanks for correcting me. It is glorious revolution. Glorious revolution, where king transferred the power to the parliament. In the glorious revolution, the king became ready to transfer the power to whom? To the parliament. And James too ran away. So this was a situation, and John Locke favored this. He favored a parliamentary system. So that's why you will see in the Locke's theory, the whole idea of the Locke, the whole or the complete idea of the Locke is basically motivated by the political conditions of the Britain. And Hobbes' idea was also motivated from the political conditions of the Britain, but both were born in different phases. Am I clear? Please tell. So Hobbes Thomas Hobbes is a scholar who was born when the Britain was suffering from civil war, which made Hobbes' theory little bit pessimistic in nature. So Hobbes developed a very pessimistic view of the individual, a pessimistic view of the contract, pessimistic view of the sovereignty, pessimistic view of the liberty. And Hobbes was more worried about the protection of the people, and Hobbes wanted to protect the society from the civil war. Is it right? Please tell. Please keep on interacting. Now tell me the second thing. So first thing is you have understood. Now tell me the second thing. What? Please tell the second difference. As per Hobbes, and this is Locke. So Hobbes considered individuals as naturally what? Violent. And Locke considered individuals as both violent and come on, please tell, peaceful, right? Hobbes is telling people are naturally violent and artificially they are peaceful. Artificially they are peaceful. Isn't it? Are you all understanding this? So as per Hobbes, people are always at war. They are violent. They want more and more pleasure. But at the same time, people are intelligent. They have thinking power. And they know that if they will maximize their pleasure, then they may be killed by the other members of the society. So that's why this Hobbes is what? This Hobbes has a very negative view of the individual. And he feels that individual is creating a state, individual is entering into the contract, and this contract is what? Artificial in nature. The contract is artificial because contract is the product of intelligence. Contract is the product of intelligence. So individual has two dimensions. One is the natural, where he is only violent. This is his natural reality. But since he has the intelligence power, the power to think, and he knows that he will be killed if he will be very ambitious. Therefore, his mind teaches him what? To compromise and look for security. And for the purpose of security, he is entering into a contract. He is entering into a contract. So contract, the objective of the contract is to give security. And this contract is a natural or individual, sorry, natural or artificial. The contract is artificial because anything which is made by the mind of the man, that is artificial. Anything which is made by the mind of the man is artificial. Dhyan se suno. Anything which is made by the mind, by the thinking capacity of the man, anything which is created because of the mind of man is artificial. So contract is created with the mind of the man, hence the contract is artificial. Are you understanding this? So what is the fundamental presumption of individuals' behavior? That individuals are what? Individuals are violent, they are artificially peaceful, They always use their mind. Please tell. They always use their mind for what? They are always, they have made this contract for the security. So individuals entered into contract to form state. And state, what is the objective of the state? What is the objective of the state? The objective of the state is to give security by taking away the rights. So here contract is made out of intelligence or out of consent? Please tell me. Was there any consent in this contract? Please tell. If I tell you, if I ask you that this is the contract of, this is the contract of whom? This is the contract of, suppose, Hobbes. And Hobbes says that individual is naturally violent, but since individual is so intelligent that he is looking for, so the second important thing is contract is made for security. That is very important part. And contract is natural or artificial? Contract is artificial in nature. Why artificial? Because consent is voluntarily, or consent is given because of intelligence. So here consent is product of intelligence. Consent is a product of intelligence. Are you understanding this? Is this contract irreversible? Contract is irreversible. So if, let me make one new page and let us understand here. Says this is Hobbes, and what are the prime features of the contract of Hobbes? The first thing is individual is violent. Second thing is individual is intelligent. Second thing is contract is artificial, right? So state is also artificial. People will give more rights. People will surrender their natural rights. So people have surrendered natural rights. People have surrendered natural rights. And state is, as per this contract, state is very absolute in nature. There is absolute sovereignty. And what about the liberty? Liberty is maximum or minimum? There is a minimum liberty. You cannot enjoy any liberty without a law. So there is a legal view of liberty. This is very important. There is a legal view of liberty. And if the state fails in giving protection, the objective is to give security. But state, even if the state fails, people have no right to protest against. So no right to protest, no right to protest, plus no right to revolt. So if there is no right to revolt, why there is no right to revolt? Because you have surrendered all your natural rights. And revolting is a natural right. समझ रहे हो? Please tell me. Revolting is a natural right. So everything is so well connected. People are violent but intelligent. So they want more security or more liberty. Such people want more security than liberty. So they are sacrificing liberty to achieve security. but this is their intelligent thinking, that is not their natural thinking. So therefore they enter into a contract. So here individual created state and state created society, and if state is not able to create a peaceful society, then people do not have right to go back from the contract. So contract is a permanent in nature. Contract is a permanent in nature. Contract is permanent in nature. Bolo yes or no? Contract is permanent in nature. And one more thing you have to understand. Many times in political science, you see state of nature. You see the word state of nature. What is state of nature? Anybody? State of nature means the past state when there was no government, and the future state when there will be no government. When there will be no government. So state of nature means what will be the condition of society when there is no government. जब कोई सरकार नहीं होती है तो फिर हम सबका क्या हाल होगा? What will happen to all of us? Suppose state, जो अभी state है, present state, we have, ऐसे समझ लो, try to understand in this language, whatever is the current situation. In current situation, we have one government. So now we take two situations. First situation of very ancient past. This is a hypothetical situation. Hypothetical situation where we are assuming the condition of the society without government. कि कभी तो ऐसा होगा पास्ट में जब कोई गवर्नमेंट नहीं थी. तो जब कोई गवर्नमेंट नहीं थी उस समय सोसाइटी कैसी थी? So this is the past view of society without government. So here you are presuming the society, the past view of society without government. और किसी वजह से मान लेते हैं ये गवर्नमेंट खत्म हो जाती है फ्यूचर में, तो फिर क्या होगा? So this is the future view of society without government. Any problem in understanding state of nature? So suppose this is position number 1, this is position number 2, and this is position number 3. So what is the state of nature? State of nature is position number 1 and 3. Are we understanding this? Is it clear? Please tell. How many of you understood a state of nature? State of nature are two conditions. Past hypothetical situation where we are trying to create a hypothesis कि पास्ट में जब गवर्नमेंट नहीं था, लॉज नहीं थे, इंस्टीट्यूशंस नहीं थे, तो ह्यूमन बिहेवियर कैसा होगा पास्ट में, राइट? सो दिस इज सिचुएशन नंबर 1, पास्ट व्यू ऑफ ह्यूमन बिहेवियर और सोसाइटी विदाउट गवर्नमेंट. Position number 2 is current situation when we have this state, when we have CBI, when we have parliament, when we have judiciary, when we have executive. So the current situation is situation number 2 when we have government and when we have laws and we have all institutions. And then we have the future situation which we are presuming that suppose in the future for any reason, suppose there is no government, then what will be the behavior of the people, behavior of society? That is situation number 3. State of nature is what? Situation number 1 and situation number 3. Am I clear to all of you? Please tell yes or no. In political science, especially in the theory of social contract, you always come across a term which is known as a state of nature. State of nature means the condition of society without government, in the past also and in the future also. पास्ट में जब कभी सरकार नहीं होगी, इंस्टीट्यूशंस नहीं होंगे, तो ह्यूमन बिहेवियर कैसा होगा, उसके बारे में जो कल्पना लोग करते हैं अपने तरीके से, उसे कहते हैं स्टेट ऑफ नेचर। या फ्यूचर में जब कभी गवर्नमेंट नहीं होगी, सब गवर्नमेंट खत्म हो जाएगी, तो फिर हम सब कैसे बिहेव करेंगे, दैट इज नॉन एज future state of nature. So future state of nature and past state of nature together combined, they are known as state of nature. So as per Hobbes, state of nature, in state of nature, that means when we are without government, we all will be violent. Are we understanding this? We all will try to fight the war with each other. समझ रहे हो मेरी बात को? अब यहां पे इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है कि हॉब्स क्या कहते हैं कि अगर एक बार कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बन गया, once you have made the contract, are we understanding this, then you cannot go back to state of nature. Why we cannot go back to state of nature? Because the contract has created a state which is permanent in nature, and even if this state is not giving the individual security to anyone, people do not have the right to revolt against this state. So people cannot dismantle the state. And if people cannot dismantle the state, that means we can never live without a state. Are you understanding this? How many of you understood this? फिर से बोले, as per the Hobbes, what Hobbes said, कि हम पहले किस में थे? We were living without laws and government. Correct? This is past view of society without government, and this is known as state of nature. फिर क्या हुआ? इंडिविजुअल्स ने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनाया, and this contract made a state, and now you cannot revolt against this state. If you cannot revolt against this state, that means in future we can never be against, so we can never be without a government. We can never be without a government. आई बात समझ में? So whenever there is a contract, there are some terms of the contract, there are certain conditions of the contract, and there are many conditions of this contract. What are the conditions of the contract? For the first condition is that people will have to surrender all their natural rights except the right to life. So when people have surrendered all their natural right to the state, that means they have also surrendered the right to revolt against the state. Bolo, please tell me. This is the condition of this contract, because whenever we enter into a contract, we put many conditions. बहुत शर्तों के आधार पर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनता है. मिस्टर वेंकटेश, अनिकेत सिंह, हिमांशु, दीपक साहू, जयश्री, रोमियो पायलान, प्लीज आंसर. और कंडीशन क्या है कि people will have to surrender all their natural rights. So when people have surrendered all natural rights, what does it mean? That means they have surrendered right to revolt, and if they have surrendered right to revolt, that means they can never do any protest and revolt against the state, even if the state is not fulfilling its obligation of giving the individual security. It is just a presumption that state is formed by intelligent people, matured people, and they will never they will never go against their promises and they will always try to give more and more security to the people. But suppose under such, it's a hypothetical situation, suppose the government is not giving, fulfilling its obligations and not giving security to the individuals, in that case, can the people revolt against the state or not? I think I have discussed this yesterday also when some of you asked this question. In Hobbes' state, are the people allowed to revolt against the state? The answer is no. So state is reversible or irreversible? Please tell this answer. State is reversible or irreversible? Is reversible or irreversible? Please answer this. State is irreversible. That means you cannot finish the state. You cannot make the society stateless. That means in future it will never go to the state of nature once more. What is the state of nature? State of nature is a condition, is a social condition, or you can say stateless society. Stateless society is known as a state of nature. क्योंकि है कि नहीं, तो स्टेट ऑफ नेचर दो बार आता है जिंदगी में, एक बार पास्ट में और एक बार हो सकता है फ्यूचर में. समझ रहे हो? Here only you will understand the importance of the Locke. So when Locke, what Locke is saying here, now you will understand. Locke क्या कहता है कि जब हम कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनाते हैं तो लोग पहले ही टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस कर देते हैं कि इफ द गवर्नमेंट will not give liberty to the people, then people will revolt against the government and people will step down the government, and once more we can enter into a state of nature. So please tell me, in Hobbes, how many times the state of nature will come? And in Locke, how many times the state of nature will come? You have to remember that in Hobbes, the state is irreversible. Irreversible means we cannot go back to the stateless society. But in John Locke says that state is, contract is reversible in nature. Spandan Sinha क्या कहते हैं? In state of, very good. So all of you are now understanding that there is such great concept in Hobbes and Locke. So where Hobbes feels that you were in the state of nature, correct? And then you entered into a contract and you made a state. Now this state is permanent. Nobody can remove this state. This state is so powerful. That's why this is absolute, sovereign, and there is no going back. You cannot go back to the state of nature. You cannot go back to state of nature. Why? Because this state cannot be dismantled. This state cannot be withered. This state is permanent in nature. The contract is irreversible in nature. It cannot reverse. But as per the Locke, people were living in state of nature, and then what happened? They first formed a peaceful society which is known as a pre-contract stage. I hope you all remember the last class. What we said, that before entering into a contract to form the state, first they form a civilized society, wherein Hobbes, first they form an intelligent state, and this intelligent state is forming a civilized society. So in the Hobbes, there are two outcomes of the contract. First, what is the first outcome? You will make a absolute state, and this second outcome, this absolute state will make a civilized society. So in Hobbes, two outcomes are there. Absolute state is certain or uncertain, and civilized state, absolute state is a certain. What happened? Please refresh. वेरी गुड। तो हॉब्स के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में यू विल सी दैट इन हॉब्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट two things are there: absolute state is certain and permanent and irreversible. Second, civilized society is uncertain. करेक्ट। तो एब्सोल्यूट स्टेट तो बनेगा, लेकिन वो एब्सोल्यूट स्टेट एक सिविलाइज्ड सोसाइटी बना ही देगा, इस बात की कोई गारंटी नहीं है। और अगर सिविलाइज्ड स्टेट नहीं बना पाता है तो उस स्टेट को हम खत्म कर पाएंगे या नहीं, तो इसका जवाब हॉब्स देता है कि उस स्टेट को आप खत्म नहीं कर सकते हैं। सो यू कैन नॉट फिनिश दैट एब्सोल्यूट स्टेट बिकॉज द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इज परमानेंट, रिवर्सिबल। सो द ह्यूमन बींग्स cannot once again go back to a stateless society. So once you are making a strong state from a stateless society, and after that if that absolute state is not able to form a civilized society, then in that situation people do not have the right to revolt against the state and again go back to a stateless society. Am I clear to all of you? But this situation is little bit different in John Locke, because Locke framed his society during the civilized time when there was political stability. So he gave a liberal view of everything. He gave a liberal view. He said that individuals are ambivalent. They are what? Violent also, and they are peaceful also, depending upon their circumstances. And therefore, different people have different circumstances. That's why they first decide to form a civilized society. They first decide to form a civilized society. If this civilized society wants to enter into contract, right, then they can form a state. So objective of forming this contract is compulsory or optional? Please tell. जॉन लॉक ने क्या कहा कि कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनाने की हो सकती है, जरूरत भी ना पड़े। बहुत अच्छा कॉन्सेप्ट है यहाँ जॉन लॉक का। जॉन लॉक कहते हैं कि पीपल आर वायलेंट ऑल्सो, पीसफुल ऑल्सो, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द सर्कमस्टेंसेस। इफ द सर्कमस्टेंसेस आर द वीक, they are educationally backward, economically backward, there is scarcity, then definitely they will be violent. In such situations, they will first try to make a civilized society, which is known as a pre-contract. So if this civilized society is fair enough and nobody is killing anybody and everybody is living in a state of convenience, then is it necessary that they will have to form a state? Please tell. इन्होंने तो एक सिविलाइज्ड सोसाइटी बना ली, और अगर सिविलाइज्ड सोसाइटी में सब लोग कन्वीनियंटली रह रहे हैं बिना लड़े झगड़े, तो उनको कोई भी पॉलिटिकल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है। दे डोंट नीड ए पॉलिटिकल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट टू फॉर्म ए स्टेट. सो स्टेट इज हियर ऑप्शनल and it will depend upon the nature of the society. For example, in India, people are from different culturally. So as per John Locke, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनने की संभावना ज्यादा कहां पर है? As per John Locke, the formation of a contract, social contract to form a state is more in which kind of society? As per John Locke, the possibility of forming a contract to form a state is more in which kind of society? Prosperous society or इन प्रॉस्परस सोसाइटी? हेट्रोजेनस सोसाइटी में ज्यादा पॉसिबिलिटीज है। अगर हेट्रोजेनस सोसाइटी है कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट बहुत ज्यादा है, बैकवर्ड सोसाइटी है, एक तरह से बैकवर्ड सोसाइटी को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट की जरूरत पड़ती है। अब यहीं से आता है रिटन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन और अनरिटन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का कॉन्सेप्ट, कि ज्यादा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कहां बनेगा, ज्यादा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट यानी एक रिटन डॉक्यूमेंट, इसकी जरूरत किसको पड़ती है, अनसिविलाइज्ड सोसाइटी को पड़ती है। जो लोग सिविलाइज्ड सोसाइटी हैं, दे कैन फंक्शन with minimum contract with minimum laws. That's why Britain is an unwritten constitution. So they don't need to make more and more laws to regulate everything. So civilized society enters into maximum contract or minimum contract. So civilized society, so it is depending upon the degree of how much you are civilized. If your society is more civilized, you will need less contract, you will need less state, and this state will make less laws. This state will make less laws. This state will make less laws. है कि नहीं? और यहां पे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बना करके जो टर्म्स और कंडीशंस क्या होते हैं, व्हाट आर द टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस ऑफ दिस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, समझेंगे। उसके पहले ये समझते हैं। और अगर सोसाइटी सिविलाइज्ड नहीं है, इफ द सोसाइटी इज नॉट सिविलाइज्ड, मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल आर अनसिविलाइज्ड, देन दे विल मेक मोर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट और लेस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, दे विल मेक मोर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एंड दे विल मेक ए मोर स्टेट, है कि नहीं? तो अब यहां पे दो सिचुएशंस हैं विच यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड। पहला तो ये हुआ कि इंडिविजुअल्स क्रिएटेड ए society. The objective of creating society was, so this is more civilized society, this is less civilized society. ध्यान से सुनना, you have to understand. In less civilized society, again you will have two conditions. What are the conditions? Let us understand. You make a contract here, and here also you make a contract. Here you, when you make the contract, you are successful in achieving the objective of contract. The objective of contract. Here you are not successful in achieving the objective of contract. So, and when you are in a more civilized society, you need a different kind of contract, correct? So first let us understand civilized society. So if you are in a civilized society, you need less laws to govern you, right? You need less laws, means people are not problematic for each other, and they have made the contract, and they are not sacrificing their natural rights. Are you understanding this? Hobbes में contract बनता है, तो contract में अपने सारे natural rights surrender कर देते हैं। Dev Durlab answered, sir, I can't hear you. Please refresh. So try to understand here that suppose you are in a more civilized society, and here you are in a less civilized society. So when you are in a more civilized society, you need more laws or less laws to protect your natural rights. So here we are forming the contract mainly to protect our natural rights and natural liberties. So here we are not sacrificing, here we are There is no sacrifice of the natural rights as in the case of Hobbes. So definitely these contracts we require less contract to make less laws to protect our liberty. आ रही बात समझ में? So here why we are making contract? To make laws. What is the objective of making the law? To take away the rights or to protect the rights? Please tell. हॉब्स में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनाने का ऑब्जेक्टिव था कि स्टेट को हम सारे राइट्स दे देते थे और हम स्टेट को ये अधिकार देते थे कि वो हमारे कोई भी अधिकार छीन सकता है। यानी हॉब्स के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में जब भी लॉ बनता है तो वो अधिकार देने के लिए नहीं बनता है, अधिकार छीनने के लिए बनाया जाता है। सो इन हॉब्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पीपल intelligently they have surrendered all their natural rights and they have given the power to the government to make laws to take away their liberty and give security. Are you understanding this? Please tell me. Where is Malaika? Aniket Singh, Spandan Sinha. समझ रही हो मलाइका? Are you understanding मलाइका? जब सोसाइटी सिविलाइज्ड है तो हमें एक कैसे गवर्नमेंट बनाने की जरूरत है? हमें गवर्नमेंट की जरूरत कम पड़ेगी और इस तरह की गवर्नमेंट जब भी लॉ बनाएगी तो उन एंटी सोशल एलिमेंट्स को कंट्रोल करने के लिए लॉ बनाती है जो हमारे लिबर्टी के लिए खतरे हैं। तो यहाँ पे लॉ बनाने का जो ऑब्जेक्टिव है, हियर द ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ मेकिंग द लॉ is not to take away our liberty but to protect our liberty, which is in difference with the Hobbes contract. Hobbes के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में ये टर्म होता है कि गवर्नमेंट लॉ बना करके अधिकार छीनेगी, यानी वहां जब भी लॉ बनता है तो राइट्स छीनने के लिए बनाया जाता है और यहां जब भी लॉ बनाया जाता है तो राइट्स को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए लॉ बनाया जाता है। आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस लॉ? सो हियर हॉब्स के लॉज क्या हैं? दे आर मोर नेचुरल लॉज। व्हाई दे आर नेचुरल लॉज? बिकॉज दे आर प्रोटेक्टिंग योर लिबर्टी। सो हॉब्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इज मेनली sorry not Hobbes, Locke's contract is mainly made to protect the natural right. That's why this is a natural contract or legal contract. This is a natural contract or legal contract. Locke नेचुरल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, यहां पे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को नेचुरल बताते हैं, है कि नहीं? क्योंकि कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कोई और इस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है? नेचुरल लॉ बनाना। और नेचुरल लॉ क्या होता है? जो नेचुरल राइट को प्रोटेक्ट करता है। लेकिन हॉब्स का जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है, पहली बात तो वो नेचुरल नहीं है, वो आर्टिफिशियल है और इसके कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में जो लॉज बनाए जाते हैं वो अधिकार छीनने के लिए बनाए जाते हैं। तो इसका जो इसके कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में लिखा है कि क्या क्या इंसान नहीं कर सकता है और लॉक के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में लिखा है कि क्या क्या इंसान करेगा। तो लॉक का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इंसान को नेचुरली जीने में मदद करता है, उसकी नेचुरल राइट्स को प्रोटेक्ट करता है। इसका कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इसलिए मोर नेचुरल है। लेकिन हॉब्स का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट आर्टिफिशियल है और हॉब्स की पूरी राइट लीगल राइट है, लीगल अप्रोच है। हॉब्स के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में अगर कानून बना करके कोई अधिकार दिया गया तो केवल उसी की रक्षा हो सकती है। इसे क्या बोलते हैं? लीगल व्यू ऑफ राइट। यानी राइट वही है जो कानून ने बताया है, उसके अलावा आपका कोई भी राइट नहीं। यानी हॉब्स कहता है कि अगर सरकार लॉ बना करके खुद आपको प्रॉपर्टी का अधिकार दे दे तभी आपके पास प्रॉपर्टी का अधिकार होगा, वरना नहीं होगा. This is known as legal view of right. That means source of right is law, not nature. So Hobbes' contract is only protecting the legal right. Hobbes' contract is not protecting your natural right because you have surrendered the natural right to the state. Am I clear to all of you? Patel Chandrakant Gowda is saying Locke will lock the rights of the state and unlock the rights of the people. Very good. Very nice explanation. Very nice explanation. तो इस चीज पे जितनी बहस होगी उतना द थिंग्स विल गो डीप इनटू योर माइंड, सो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस that Hobbes contract is only protecting so if I give a question that Hobbes contract is protecting natural rights or legal rights, Hobbes contract is protecting natural rights or legal rights. Very good, legal rights. Hemant Kumar is saying, sir, can you please explain legal view right? Of course, I am here to explain you that only. So here, suppose I am explaining you what is this legal view of rights and natural view of rights. ध्यान से सुनो. For that you have to understand carefully. Right? When Hobbes was making the contract, then in this contract everybody surrendered their natural right. Now people are left with no right. And what are the terms of this contract? This contract is saying people will have no rights until and unless the government makes the law and recognizes it. So you do not have any right. You do not have right to equality, right against exploitation, right to property, right to family. You do not have any right. So you have no natural right. You have no natural right. You will enjoy right only if law is made and given to you. So if law is giving you, government is making the law and is giving you suppose a right to property, then only you can enjoy property. Otherwise you can never claim that property is your right. No matter property is your natural right. समझ में आया? So this contract will protect only the legal rights, the rights which are made by the law of the government. अगर गवर्नमेंट ने कानून बना के कोई अधिकार दे दिया तभी उसकी प्रोटेक्शन होगी, वरना आपके किसी अधिकार की कोई प्रोटेक्शन नहीं है. अंडरस्टूड? सो हॉब्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इज मोर लीगल इन नेचर as it protects only the legal rights, the rights which are given to you by the law. They will not protect your natural rights. Second, here laws are generally made to take away your right and not give the right. So there is a very less probability that the government will make a law and give you right. Most, so how if government is making 100 laws, then 99 laws will be made to take your right, and maybe one or two law is made to protect your right. So most of the laws are made to restrict your right, not to protect your right. Am I clear? But in the Locke's state, if government is making 100 laws, then out of that 90 to 95 laws will be made to protect your natural rights, and only hardly 2 or 4 laws will be made to restrict your right. So that means the objective of the Locke's contract is to give you more and more protection of your natural rights, whether they are made by the law or not, whether they are given by the law or not. Please tell me, is it right or wrong? समझ में आया? Please tell me. अब देखो क्या है, दिस इज लेस सिविलाइज्ड सोसाइटी. If the civilized society is, if the society is less civilized, they need more contract or less contract? They need more contract or less contract? More contract. And what will be the terms of the contract? This contract will give more responsibility of the government to make more laws for the protection of the liberty. Because since the society is less civilized, so there are chances of more anti-social elements in this society. And the contract is made to protect the civilized people from the uncivilized people. So generally this contract will make more laws. So more laws are made to protect the natural rights. So here we need more government, more state, more contract to protect more and more of our rights, because here most of our natural rights are threatened by anti-social people. तो यहाँ पे we require a government, we require a state which will promise us that they will make more and more laws. So when the government is giving you right to food, right to electricity, right to education, right to health, so government is giving more and more laws to give you more and more protection. बोलो yes or no? तो इस तरह की गवर्नमेंट, तो लेस सिविलाइज्ड स्टेट में हमारे लिबर्टी को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए ज्यादा लॉज बनेंगे. सो दिस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विल मेक मोर लॉज इन कंपैरिजन विद दिस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. ठीक है. नाउ देयर आर टू चांसेस. लेस सिविलाइज्ड, दैट्स व्हाई इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज वेरी वॉल्यूमिनस. एज पर जॉन लॉक, why Indian constitution is so voluminous? Indian constitution is very big, American constitution is very small. Why? Because America is a more civilized society, so they need less written laws to protect the rights of people. But in India is a less civilized society, so India needed more written laws, more written contract, more written things to give more and more protection. समझ में आया? Please tell me, because if you do not take it otherwise, and why should you take it otherwise? Because you people are all intellectual and scholars. Two types of students comes to me. Two types of student comes to me. Some student will come and ask to me, sir, will you give me notes? Sir, will you give me PDF? Will you give me handwritten notes? So they want the more and more guarantee of all superficial things. Will you give me this product, that product, recording, PDF, revision, MCQ, answer writing? So many things they will ask. Some students come and they do not ask me anything. They just know that, sir, will you give me concepts or not? They just are running after the concepts. So similarly here. So in a less civilized society, people are less secured. So therefore they want more guarantee of protection. समझ में आ रहा है? So ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हम क्यों बना रहे हैं? गारंटी ऑफ प्रोटेक्शन के लिए बना रहे हैं. किसके लिए बना रहे हैं? गारंटी ऑफ प्रोटेक्शन के लिए बना रहे हैं. और ये वाला जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है, हॉब्स का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, दिस इज गिविंग गारंटी ऑफ पनिशमेंट. दिस इज guarantee of punishment. This is guarantee of protection. How many of you understood guarantee of punishment? Hobbes contract will give guarantee of punishment. Locke's contract is giving guarantee of protection. बात समझ में आ रही? So if anybody will violate Hobbes contract, he will get guarantee of punishment. And if anybody has joined the Locke's contract, he will get guarantee of protection. तो यहां पे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में हम गवर्नमेंट को पावर्स देते हैं ताकि वो ज्यादा से ज्यादा प्रोटेक्टिव लॉस बना सके. सो दिस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विल मेक मोर प्रोटेक्टिव लॉस. अब इसमें दो संभावनाएं, देयर आर टू पॉसिबिलिटीज. No matter the less civilized state has made a very voluminous contract, and that contract has given many power to the government to make more and more protective laws, but there is no guarantee that these contract will result into a civilized state. इस बात की कोई गारंटी नहीं है कि सिविलाइज्ड स्टेट बन ही जाएगा. गारंटी है क्या? प्लीज टेल मी. There is no guarantee of civilized state. So suppose you do not become a civilized state. So why you are not becoming a civilized state? Because the state has failed in fulfilling, in protecting your liberty. So do people will have the right to revolt against the state? So there are two situations. Either you are successful in making a civilized society. Let me make one new page. So there are two possibilities of Locke's contract. This is Locke contract. So there are two possibilities in uncivilized society. Will go for a contract, and there are two possibility. Possibility number one, you are successful, and possibility number two, you are unsuccessful. This is you are successful, and this is you are unsuccessful. So when you are successful, then you need, can you go back to the state of nature? Successful means you have made the civilized society. You have made civilized society. So if you have made civilized society, do you need a state? Do you need a state? Tell me. Two possibilities are there. You made the contract was made to give more and more protection, and the state was successful in giving the protection, and there was a civilized society. अब स्टेट की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. अगर स्टेट की कोई जरूरत नहीं है तो स्टेट इंस्टीट्यूशंस विल स्लोली विदर अवे. State institutions will slowly wither away. So there is John Locke is related with communist Marx. So state will wither away and you will naturally enter into a stateless society. अपने आप you will go back to the stateless society. And if you are unsuccessful in making a civilized society, you could not achieve the goal of the civilized society. In that case, people will revolt or not? People will revolt or not? And if people will revolt, then again we will go into stateless society. That means John Locke's contract is what? Is reversible in nature. Is reversible in nature, and it is temporary in nature.
Nature, in the broadest sense, is the natural physical.
It is temporary in nature. Even if you are successful, then also you will land into a stateless society. And if you are not successful, then also you will land into a stateless society. If you are successful, then slowly with the passage of the time, the relevance of state institutions will wither away, will fade away, and slowly the importance and the relevance of the state will decrease, and one day there will be a stateless society. And if it is unsuccessful, then people will revolt against the state, and people will again go back to the stateless society. Please tell me how many of you understood this? Hemant Kumar, how a less civilized society will make a contract which chooses a state which to protect natural rights? Because in a less civilized society, some people are civilized and some are uncivilized. So because of that, civilized people are afraid of uncivilized people. So they want protection from the uncivilized people. So these civilized people will make a contract. Am I clear? For example, when India was becoming independent, then all of them were not nationalistic, all of them were not patriotic. सब लोग nationalistic नहीं थे, सब लोग patriotic नहीं थे. Everybody was not a freedom fighter. Most of the people were anti-social, anti-national. And therefore, those who were learned, educated, and elite people, they wanted to make a modern India, and they wanted to protect India from the future internal enemies of India. And they only made the constitution. Am I clear, Hemant Kumar? Jayasri, one question, but in unsuccessful, we can enter temporary stateless society. In unsuccessful also, yes, you can go back to the temporary stateless society. Yes, very good. Very good interpretation, Jayasri. So, हो सकता है कि this you are entering into a stateless society in unsuccessful. Suppose you become unsuccessful and people revolt and you decide to go back to stateless society, but again some people may enter into contract and they may again form a state. Are you understanding this? Spartan Sinha. Sir, if Locke's contract is unsuccessful, how can we become civilized? This is, you have not understood actually, Spandan. Unsuccessful means the state became unsuccessful in protecting the rights of everybody. यहाँ तो ये एज्यूम कर लिया जाता है ना कि स्टेट तब बनता है जब सोसाइटी सिविलाइज हो जाती है, लेकिन जॉन लॉक कहते हैं कि पूरे दुनिया में सब जगह एक जैसा सोसाइटी नहीं होता है. कहीं पे ज्यादा सिविलाइज्ड लोग हैं, कहीं कम सिविलाइज्ड लोग हैं. तो अगर ज्यादा सिविलाइज्ड लोग हैं तो उनको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट की जरूरत कम पड़ेगी. अगर कम सिविलाइज्ड लोग सोसाइटी है तो उसमें कुछ लोग तो सिविलाइज्ड होंगे, जो लोग कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनाने का नीड को प्रेजेंट करेंगे तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट यहां बनेगा. जैसे भारत में कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन वाज मेड बाय ऑल ग्रेट पीपल फॉर ए बैकवर्ड्स. आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन वाज एडवांस्ड बट आवर सोसाइटी वाज बैकवर्ड. So constitution was ideal. It wanted to make a modern India, a dreamy India. But constitution failed to make a universally peaceful society and universally civilized society. So here unsuccessful means that the state failed to protect the liberties of the people. So that means your degree of civilization is not progressive in nature. In such cases, when the government has failed to give the liberty to the people, then in such cases what will happen? People can revolt against the state and people can again enter into a stateless society. Spandan Sinha, now you have understood. You are saying if Locke's contract is unsuccessful, how can we become civilized? We will not become civilized. This is the question, Spandan. This is the main problem, na? Unsuccessful means the overall society is not becoming civilized. We have to enter the cycle again. Very good, Jayasri. So now you people are thinking on your own. This is so good. You are able to think on your own. आनंद कुमार, इट विल रिपीट इटसेल्फ विद टाइम. तो इनका साइकिल कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ. इफ द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इज नॉट सक्सेसफुल, दैट मीन्स यू हैव नॉट अचीव्ड दैट. This is what is happening in India as per the John Locke. So you can relate the John Locke's contract with India. So Hobbes can be also related with India, and John Locke can also be related with India. Am I clear or not? Hobbes' theory also can be related with India. Locke's theory can also be related with India. This is so wonderful. India can be related with all scholars. Even the Machiavelli's theory can be related with India. Even the Machiavellian theory can also be related with India. So in John Locke's contract, what is important to understand the terms of the contract. So what are the terms of the contract? What are the terms of contract in John Locke? Please tell. What is the first term? People will enjoy more natural rights or less natural rights. Will people surrender their natural rights? First condition is people will not surrender natural rights. Correct? People will not surrender natural rights. State will make laws to protect natural rights. Third, state will be limited sovereign. So state will enjoy limited sovereignty. State cannot make laws to take away natural rights of people. So as per this fourth point, state will make laws only to protect the right. State will not make the laws to take away the right. So can you relate it with the UAPA law, terrorism law, Naxal law? So under no circumstances, even if it is a matter of terrorism, even if it is a matter of national security, even it is a matter of Naxalism or any matter of separatism, state can never take the natural rights of the people. State can never take irrationally the natural rights of the people. Are you able to understand this? So first condition is people will not surrender natural rights. Second, state will make laws to protect natural rights. State will be limited sovereignty, and there will be elected government of majority. Elected government of majority. So no focus on minority. And people will enjoy right to property. People will enjoy right to property. Are you understanding this? So you have to understand these 6 terms of the contract, and the most important term is what? If state fails, if the state fails to protect, then what will happen? If state fails to protect, seventh point, if state fails to protect natural rights, then people can revolt against state to make a stateless society. So this is given in the contract itself. Are you understanding this? Please tell me. Patel Chandrakant Gowda can revolt, right? So these are the what? These are the conditions of, these are the terms of the contract, that people will not surrender their natural right, state will protect the natural right, state will protect natural right, state will be elected in nature but will enjoy limited sovereignty, state cannot make laws to take away the natural rights of people, people will enjoy right to property as well. On property I will tell you. So what about the property here? So here we will understand about property. So let's understand the Locke's theory on property. So what he said in the terms of contract of the property about the right to property. Right to property. So what is the fundamental objective of Locke? Liberty of individual. He is talking of the liberty of individual. So will he allow right to acquire property? Romeo Palens is asking a question, sir, if government is formed, then by revolt new government will be formed. How can it go back to stateless society? How new government will be formed? Because here he is saying that new government, there is less chance of forming the new government. For new government, you will have to enter into a new contract. Contract cannot be, because this contract doesn't allow periodic elections. This contract doesn't allow periodic elections. If there is periodic elections, then obviously new government will be formed. This says that there will be one-time election, and after one-time election, the government will come to power, and if they are not giving the rights to the people or protecting the rights of the people, then people will do the revolt against the government, and people will go back, because people will realize that elected government is not functioning, is not working at all. So they will not trust the next election. Am I clear, Romeo Pylon? This is the thinking of John Locke, not mine. So John Locke is saying that once the elected government has failed, they will not trust or take a chance to form the new elected government. Rather, they will choose to go back to the stateless society, because in stateless society also there was some degree of civilization. आई बात समझ में? क्योंकि वो उन्होंने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्यों बनाया था? पहले से ही तो वो सिविलाइज्ड थे ही. नहीं समझ रहे हो? तो अगर सपोज ऐसे समझो कि सोसाइटी सिविलाइज थी, इसको और अच्छा बनाने के लिए स्टेट बनाया, लेकिन स्टेट बनाने के बाद आपका जो प्रेजेंट कंडीशन हो गया वो स्टेटलेस सोसाइटी में जब आप थे उससे भी खराब हो गया. कहते हैं ना, जब मिल्कियत नहीं थी तो भी जमाना खराब था, जब मिल्कियत है तो भी जमाना खराब है. आप ऑलरेडी एक सिविलाइज्ड स्टेट में थे, यू वर ऑलरेडी एंजॉयिंग ए सिविलाइज्ड सोसाइटी. You wanted more civilized society, that's why you formed a state. But after forming the state, you realized that your current situation is worse. Suppose this is situation number 1, this is situation number 2, this is situation number 3. So your situation at number 3 is worse than at situation at number 1. यानी आपको ये रियलाइज हो जाता है कि स्टेट जब नहीं था तब हम ज्यादा बेटर थे. आई बात समझ में? इसीलिए यू वांट टू गो बैक टू दिस स्टेट एंड यू विल नॉट टेक द रिस्क ऑफ अनदर इलेक्शन. इट इज गुड दैट यू पीपल आर आस्किंग क्वेश्चंस. बोलो, समझ रहे हो? Who asked this question? I think Romeo asked this question. Patel Chandrakant Gowda, have you understood? So when the state is not giving you a better society and you realize that you were much better without state, then you will like to go back to the stateless society, because in Locke's stateless society is also civilized. This is only known as a pre-social, pre-contract कहते हैं ना. Before entering into a contract to form the state, you first make a good society, a civilized society. And when you are successful in civilized society, then only there is chance of making a new state. Hemant Kumar, but the same case would be for less civilized society, would we go back to contract? वो भी हो सकता है, that I also, in less civilized society, no, either you will be successful or you will be unsuccessful. If you are successful, then you may go back or go not back, doesn't matter, right? If you are successful in making a more civilized society, and if you realize that you don't need any government, then it is up to the people. If you are not successful, then there will be revolution, and then you will go back to that state. तो देखो ऐसा होता है. Nice question. In less civilized society, what will be the chances? Suppose it is a less civilized society, right? So less civilized society, you made the state, and two chances are there. You became successful and you became more civilized. So this is when you are successful. This is when you are unsuccessful. When you are unsuccessful, you became worse. When you are successful, you became a better. If you are becoming better and if you think you do not require a state, you can proceed forward. So this, you may decide that now we don't require any government. So you will be in a stateless society, but this stateless society will be better than this stateless society. How many of you understood this? ध्यान से सुनो, फिर से बोलता हूं. आप लेस सिविलाइज्ड सोसाइटी में थे, आपने स्टेट पर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया and you formed a state. Now there are two chances. Either you will become better or you will become worse. If you are becoming better, then the importance of state will decrease with the time and you will enter into a stateless society. But this stateless society is more peaceful than this stateless society. आई बात समझ में? प्लीज टेल मी. और जो लोग वर्स हो गए वो रिवॉल्ट करके वापस पुराने वाले पोजीशन में चल जाएंगे. तो स्टेटलेस सोसाइटी में तो दोनों एंटर करेगा, लेकिन स्टेटलेस सोसाइटी के पीस में डिफरेंस होगा. तो जो वर्स हो गए वो वापस लेस स्टेटलेस सोसाइटी में जाएंगे और वापस उस वाले सिचुएशन में चले जाएंगे जहां से वो आए थे, यानी उनका कोई डेवलपमेंट नहीं हुआ. यानी ये स्टेटलेस सोसाइटी में है, लेकिन रिलेटिवली इनका जो पीस है, दे आर रिलेटिवली लेस पीसफुल देन दिस वन. इज इट क्लियर? या फिर से समझाओ? ऐसे समझो. दिस इज लेस civilized state and this is position number 1. यहां पे you entered into contract and now you will be successful or you will be unsuccessful. If you are successful, then also you do not require a state. You do not require state and you enter into a stateless society. इसको मान लेते हैं पोजीशन नंबर 2. यहां पे क्या है? You are unsuccessful, you revolted and you entered into a stateless society and you are going back to 1. Are we understanding this? So those who revolted, they are in a stateless society, but although they are stateless, but they are not peaceful. यहाँ पे क्या है? They are in stateless, but they are peaceful. So if you become successful, you enter into a peaceful stateless society. If you are successful, you will enter into a peaceful stateless society. If you are unsuccessful, you will enter into a please tell me, you will enter into a stateless society, but that will not be as peaceful as the peacefulness of the successful सोसाइटी। आई बात समझ में? बोलो। स्पंदन सिन्हा, फॉर सम स्टेटलेस सोसाइटी विल बी लाइफ चेंज, फॉर सम इन वॉन्ट मैटर। आ रही है बात समझ में? तो जो लोग अनसक्सेसफुल हो गए वो स्टेटलेस में चले जाएंगे, लेकिन वो पीस में होंगे कि नहीं इस बात की गारंटी नहीं है। और जो लोग सक्सेसफुल हो गए वो स्टेटलेस में जाएंगे लेकिन वो पीसफुल होंगे। तो दिस इज अ पीसफुल स्टेटलेस सोसाइटी, दिस इज अनपीसफुल स्टेटलेस सोसाइटी। आनंद कुमार, सिविलाइज सोसाइटी इक्वल्स टू स्टेटलेस सोसाइटी बट बेटर देन द पास्ट। अगर इनका सक्सेसफुल हो गया तो, अगर सक्सेसफुल हो गया तो दे विल एंटर इनटू ए पीसफुल स्टेटलेस सोसाइटी। और अगर अनसक्सेसफुल हो गया तो रिवॉल्ट होगा, और रिवॉल्ट के बाद कहां चले जाएंगे? अनपीसफुल स्टेटलेस सोसाइटी। अनपीसफुल स्टेटलेस सोसाइटी। आई होप नाउ यू ऑल पीपल हैव अंडरस्टूड इट। तो यहां दोनों केसेस में हम स्टेटलेस रिवर्सिबल हो जाता है कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, हम स्टेटलेस सोसाइटी में चले जाते हैं। लेकिन हॉब्स के कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में अगर एक बार स्टेट बन गया तो हम कभी भी स्टेटलेस सोसाइटी में नहीं जा पाएंगे। नाउ वी विल सी, if you have understood, we can see right to property. Can we see the right to property? You all people are making notes na? What is this right to property? अब what is the central objective of the contract? Central objective of Locke's contract is to enjoy liberty. Enjoying liberty is the central idea. So liberty should be related with the right to property. But our enjoyment of liberty should never harm others. That means liberty is based on harm principle. Although he did not use the word harm principle, but in order to understand it, he is saying that he said that liberty ki enjoyment is the fundamental objective of the contract, and if the property is helping anyone to enjoy liberty, then it should be allowed, and government should protect. So government cannot acquire property, people can acquire property. So people can acquire property, but there are certain conditions. So what are the conditions? What are the conditions? People can acquire property with three conditions. How many conditions? Three conditions. Who can tell me? This is the term of the contract. This is the term of Locke's contract. What is the first condition? What is the second condition? And what is the third condition? First of all, he has given a labor value, that property should be always acquired only for your individual use. Property can be acquired only for individual use. Individual use. Individual use means something which is giving you feeling of liberty. Feeling of liberty. So you should acquire property only for your personal use. Are we understanding this? Only for your personal use. You should acquire property only that much which is needed for you. So this is need based property or greed based property. need based property or greed based property? Need based property. So you should acquire property only to fulfill your liberty, only to fulfill your personal. Second, you should acquire property and you should be allowed to make property only if you have attained that property using your natural labor, only by your personal labor. So if person will be allowed, person is allowed to convert common natural resources into personal property only if he mixes his own labor. That is very difficult and very important. Only if he mixes his own labor to increase the utility of that natural resource. ध्यान से सुनो. पहला तो प्रॉपर्टी आपको you should acquire only that much which you need, and any common natural resource can become your personal property only if you have mixed your own labor, not others' labor, to increase the utility of that natural resource. Utility means the usefulness of that resource. आई बात समझ में? Please tell me. So first condition, it should be need based, and second condition, you can acquire it only with the help of your own labor. Yes, you cannot ask others to do labor on your behalf and you cannot do it. Suppose there is a natural field is there, and what you have done, you have converted that natural, you have cut the grass, you have done everything, and now you are doing farming. So you will acquire only that much of agriculture land which can satisfy your hunger, correct, your needs, and only that much land will belong to you which you have plowed by yourself. So you cannot make slaves and you cannot ask the slaves to work on your behalf. So slaves' labor cannot be used to convert the natural property into your natural resources into your personal property. So you cannot use others labor to make your own, to increase your own property. Am I clear, sir? समझ में आ गया? तो labor value of property is very important, which is related with labor value of property. Labor value of property. So first is need value of property. Second is labor value of property. So first is need value of property. Need value of property. And the second one is labor value of property. उतना ही प्रॉपर्टी आपका है जो आपने अपने मेहनत से कमाया है. दूसरे के मेहनत से का इस्तेमाल करके आप अपनी प्रॉपर्टी नहीं बना सकते. एंड थर्ड is you should never make surplus property and you should never waste property. So waste value, waste and surplus value of property not allowed. That means you will not be allowed. Suppose this is natural resource, you put your labor there, but when you put the labor and when you converted it in your personal property, there was loss of wastage. यानी अगर हम किसी काम को करने में बहुत ज्यादा पॉल्यूशन करते हैं, जिससे बहुत ज्यादा वेस्ट होता है किसी चीज में, तो उसको हम अपनी पर्सनल प्रॉपर्टी नहीं बना सकते. सो यू कैन नॉट, while acquiring property, you cannot waste the natural values, the natural resources. So natural resources cannot be degraded. Are you understanding this? So whenever you convert natural resources, no matter with your own labor only, you put your labor and you make your personal property. But when you made this personal property, in course of this, you wasted many natural resources. That means in simple language, you are doing pollution. You are doing pollution. So you cannot pollute the nature while making your personal property. And second, you cannot acquire surplus property. You cannot acquire surplus property. So you cannot spoil the property and enjoy it. So spoiling is not allowed. Wasting is not allowed. Right? Surplus property is not allowed. Only labor and merit, जो अपने मेहनत से कमाए वो बिना किसी को नुकसान पहुंचाए. फ्रॉड से प्रॉपर्टी एक्वायर नहीं कर सकते. You cannot do fraud and acquire. Are you understanding this? You cannot acquire a property with the objective of misusing the property. So that is the fourth. You cannot misuse the property. So misuse of property is not allowed. Is not allowed. But all these rules will, जॉन लॉक की ये जो सारे रूल्स थे ये कैसे वायलेट होंगे? विद द डिस्कवरी ऑफ द कैपिटल, विद द डिस्कवरी ऑफ मनी. हाउ? सो विद द डिस्कवरी ऑफ द मनी, द डिस्कवरी ऑफ money economics, cash value, need value of property, greed value of property, need value, labor value, and third is what? Third is it should not be spoiled, right? So you should not spoil. So all these three rules will be violated and justified. It will be violated and then it will be justified with the discovery of money. How? Because the surplus property will be misused, then others will be. So your property should not cause inequality of pleasure. ये बहुत बड़ी थी. रूल क्या था कि हमें प्रॉपर्टी उतना ही एक्वायर करना है जिससे हमें लिबर्टी मिलती है, लेकिन हम प्रॉपर्टी एक्वायर करने के प्रोसेस में दूसरे के लिबर्टी को छीन नहीं सकते हैं, दूसरे को उसके प्लेजर से डिप्राइव नहीं कर सकते हैं. सो देयर कैन नॉट बी इन इक्वालिटी ऑफ लिबर्टी as a consequence of acquiring property, as a consequence of acquiring property. So if you are acquiring more and more property, so only your needs are getting satisfied in society, and you are leaving other community is not able to satisfy their needs, satisfy their liberty. So this acquisition of more and more property will lead to inequality of liberty. आई बात समझ में? स्पंदन सिन्हा. So he is talking about inequality. That means acquisition of property should not lead to inequality. And what is inequality? Inequality is the inequality of pleasure in society or inequality of liberty. अगर आप सारा घर लेकर के बैठ जाओगे, सारी जमीन लेकर के बैठ जाओगे, तो दूसरे लोगों को भी तो प्रॉपर्टी के माध्यम से ही लिबर्टी मिलती है. तो प्रॉपर्टी इज ए means of liberty for everybody, and if you will acquire all the property, then how others will enjoy their liberty? Because others also need property to enjoy their liberty. आई बात समझ में? अगर आप कहोगे कि मैं सारा कार में ही खरीद लूंगा, तो दूसरे लोगों को भी तो कार चाहिए. कहोगे सारा घर में ही खरीद लूंगा, सारा जमीन में ही खरीद लूंगा, तो दूसरे लोगों को भी तो घर, गाड़ी, घोड़ा, बंगला सब कुछ चाहिए अपनी लिबर्टी के लिए. तो आपके प्रॉपर्टी के एक्वायर करने की वजह से सोसाइटी में देयर शुड नॉट बी इनइक्वालिटी ऑफ लिबर्टी, सो एवरीबडी शुड हैव इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ लिबर्टी, वेरी गुड। बट मनी के डिस्कवरी होने से ये सब कुछ बिगड़ गया। जब कैश वैल्यू आ गई तो एवरीथिंग गॉट, ऑल दीज रूल्स वेयर वायलेटेड। हाउ? जैसे कहा कि लेबर वैल्यू, अपने लेबर से ही किया हुआ काम दूसरे के लेबर से नहीं कर सकते। अब मान लो मैंने दूसरा लेबर खरीद लिया और उसको उसके बदले में पैसे दे दिए। अपने जमीन पर मैंने किसी लेबर से काम कराया और उसको पैसे दे दिए, तो जॉन लॉक की थ्योरी वायलेट भी हो गई और जस्टिफाई भी हो गया। जॉन लॉक ने क्या कहा था कि अपने मेहनत से जो कमाते हो वही आपका है, दूसरे के मेहनत से आप प्रॉपर्टी नहीं बना सकते। लेकिन जब पैसा मनी हो गया तो आपने जस्टिफाई कर दिया कि हमने दूसरे की मेहनत से नहीं किया है, उसको उसका पैसा दिया है। तो जो एम्प्लॉइज मेरे लिए काम करते हैं उनको मैं पे करता हूं, और चूंकि पे करता हूं इसका मतलब हमने उनके लेबर का वैल्यू उनको वापस दे दिया। हाँ, दिस वाज द राइज ऑफ, सो दिस जॉन लॉक लिबरल तो थे लेकिन कैपिटलिस्ट भी थे, ये नहीं कह सकते। जॉन लॉक was liberal, but you cannot say that he was capitalist also. I hope you all are understanding this. But then capitalist, with the rise of capitalism, so the capitalist will destroy the spirit of the John Locke. और जॉन लॉक ने जो प्रॉपर्टी की इतनी अच्छी थ्योरी बनाई थी, इतनी अच्छी थ्योरी थी कि प्रॉपर्टी की, जो लिबर्टी भी देता था और साथ में इक्वलिटी भी इंश्योर करता था। लेकिन कैपिटलिस्ट के आने से, मनी के सरप्लस सप्लाई की वजह से जॉन लॉक की थ्योरी ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी बर्बाद हो गई और कैपिटलिस्ट ने उनके थ्योरी को वायलेट भी कर दिया और ये प्रूव भी कर दिया कि कोई वायलेशन नहीं हुआ। आई होप यू ऑल कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट कैपिटलिस्ट्स violated the John Locke's theory of, and they justified that they have not violated it. Why? Because now they are measuring every value in terms of money. They are measuring every value in terms of money. They are measuring everything in the value terms of money. For example, they will employ hundreds and hundreds of labor to make their own property, to generate more and more profit, and they will say that they have given the labor their wages, and since labor got their wages, so labor cannot claim a right on the property of the capitalist. I hope you all have understood this. Please tell. बोलो, समझ में आया? सो वी हैव रोमियो पायलन, वेंकटेश, अनिकेत सिंह, स्पंदन सिन्हा, जयश्री, पटेल चंद्रकांत, Malaika, Himanshu, yes Himanshu, yes Aniket. So you are understanding all these things? So just 1 minute. I am giving you so did you get the material for today? Sir, can we say Marx and Locke thinking similar in a way? Yes, means their spirit was same with respect to the property, means you cannot say they were same, what Locke was somewhat thinking like not 100% same, but he was somewhere related with communist also because of his theory of property. Because of his theory of property. Right? Is it okay? All of you got the PDF? Any other doubts, please ask. Any other doubts, you can ask this. Spandan Sinha, money economics up next. Tomorrow again all these things will be repeated, so I will explain money economics, right? We will discuss everything, Aniket, don't worry. Social contract versus justice, this is the theory of social contract and justice. This is the theory of Hobbes. So hope the lecture was quite. So this is like arts, or this is very analytical. Do you feel that you need to memorize anything? You have to understand each and everything very logically. स्पंदन सिन्हा, in India, Hobbes ने तो प्रॉपर्टी अधिकार दिया ही नहीं. Hobbes denied the right to property. Aniket saying it's tempting. What does it mean? Tempting? What do you want to say exactly? Okay, Malaika, thank you so much for that. So tomorrow also you all can join the class, but after tomorrow we will have to finalize the final list of the students. Hemant Kumar, only with respect to fundamental rights to Locke theory applicable to India, but not stateless society. Hemant Kumar, Spandan Sinha sir, in new education policy, engineers can study political science. Yes. Patel Chandrakant Gowda, Locke, when he talks about property, he looks communist, and when he talks about labor, such a nice Patel Chandrakant Gowda. You see the beauty of his expression. How nicely he explains. He says, Locke, when he talks about property, he looks a communist, and when he talks about liberty, he looks democratic. Very good, very good, extremely good explanation, Patel. Keep it up. Roman Palin, sir, if property is on labor based, then what about the property inheritance from the parents? So many questions are there. So we will answer all the questions. Please make the list of the questions, Romeo and Spandan. You people are so inquisitive and I really like it. I really like it. So inheritance, what was the view on the inheritance of the John Locke? We will see. So very nice, really a very nice question. So the property which you are inheriting from your parents, so you naturally need some property. The point is that the property should be acquired. So acquiring a property requires effort. But when there is no restriction when a property is gifted to you or bequeathed to you. So there are two types of property. One is the acquired property and one is the acquired property and one is the property which is the part of succession. So he is giving the theory only on acquisition of property. And when he has allowed you to acquire the property, that means he has given the natural right that you can transfer this property in the name of your children. So that is inherited. So what is inherited property is also a earned property. ठीक है, आपने मेहनत नहीं किया बट आपके पिताजी ने मेहनत किया था. जो पिताजी ने मेहनत करके प्रॉपर्टी कमाई वो आपको मिल सकता है. यानी ये प्रॉपर्टी आपको फ्रॉड से नहीं मिला है. And you will be using this property to satisfy your liberty. So that's why law puts no restriction on the succession of property, because in succession of property someone in your family has worked for it. Correct, Spandan? रोमियो पैलन. तो जो आप कोई प्रॉपर्टी आपने बनाई तो वो आप अपने बच्चों को ट्रांसफर कर सकते हैं. इसमें कहीं कोई रेस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है. प्रॉपर्टी में सिर्फ ध्यान ये रहना चाहिए कि वो चोरी का ना हो, फ्रॉड का ना हो, दूसरे का एक्सप्लॉइट करके ना हो, दूसरे की लेबर के बिहाफ पे ना बनाया गया हो. राइट? But any property which is the part of succession is not fraud, and someone in your family has worked for it, and it is so you have the natural right on that property. So thank you so much for today. Any other doubts we will entertain tomorrow. Sir, inheritance is not based on, see, the idea of harm principle will be introduced by J.S. Mill and all, right? So अभी हम वहां पहुंचे नहीं. इनका सिर्फ इतना मानना था, इन्होंने हार्म वर्ड यूज नहीं किया, बट इन्होंने ये कहा कि हमारी लिबर्टी सिर्फ हमारे मेहनत के दम पर ही हम अपनी लिबर्टी कर सकते हैं. So he did not use that harm principle, but he was meaning the same thing, which later on the other scholars will come and they will explain, they will give a perfect word for the emotions of John Locke, which is known as harm principle. So you can acquire property but without harming others, But he did not use the term harm. The term harm was used by later scholars. So really thank you to all of you, and hope you all must have enjoyed this lecture. So thank you so much to all of you. Patel Chandrakant Gowda, thank you very much. Thank you so much for today.